Said that he believes that your system has changed the NBA. A, what do you think about that? And do you agree?
Well, I think a lot of things combined to change it. One, they changed the rules. Two, that letting people came in and put validation on it, and three, the stuff we were doing. Yeah, we kind of jumped out there because of the team we had with Steve Nash before anybody really called out and worked. So in a little sense, part of it, but there was a lot of lack of that.
Well, the way things have changed to suit the skills of each team's guys, they're passing,
Right.
not your one-on-one stuff. If you were switched, Steve was here with this roster, or this roster went out there where he is, would the offenses also completely switch? In other words, would the Warriors be running what you run? Would you be running what they
I don't know. It's good. I hadn't thought it that way. Possibly, but I think every coach has a little different way to do it, whether right or wrong. And it takes a little bit of a different identity, and we wouldn't have, each team wouldn't have been exactly the same, but maybe you end up in the same ballpark.
How long did it take to be comfortable with the way it has evolved and changed here? For you just to like it?
To be honest with you, even back with Phoenix, with Steve Nash, there were series where they switched it. The pick and roll was devastating. They had to switch it. So we had Steve Nash going one-on-one. I think even in the Dallas series against the Whiskey, he was going one-on-one the whole time. And we were allowing that, and he was taking mid-range jump shots, a little bit like Chris Paul. But he's also one of the best shooters ever from mid-range. And I think he had like 45 or 50 points. In those series, he scored a lot of points because they were switching. So you kind of just figure out how the defense is going to guard you and use the best weapon. We just happen to have Houston now so many weapons that we can kind of counteract anything they try to do, hopefully.
Mike, how much can you take away from the regular season games now? Or not really?
Well, you take some plays away, or you take some matchups away, or each team's so much different than, we're not even certain the same guys now. They're not certain the same guys, and they haven't been. So they might go back, but you take some stuff away. It doesn't mean anything.
Both teams, like you said, have so many weapons that you anticipate a real chess match here?
I don't want no real chess match. You try to not think too much. You don't want to overthink it. They're going to play the way they play. I don't think they're going to switch up a lot of stuff. Now, you might, they could go big, small. We could go big, small. We could you go a little bit more ISO, stuff like that. But that'll be automatic adjustments made during the game, after the game, next game. But big stuff that everybody can see, it's hard to do.
Mike, so you talked about kind of what you expect to see and what you see in the past playoff series as far as defense and switching on you guys. To my knowledge, it's not something that you did a ton before when you were
us switching?
And
no.
Definitely not as much as what you guys do now,
not
a ton. How comfortable were you with that? Obviously, you guys have made personnel quite a bit in the offseason, especially some of your defensive pieces, but what was your rationale before kind of switching, and is it just something you kind of have to do in today's game?
I just think that offense players will become so good, so skilled at doing pick and rolls, and that if you don't switch, you open up for a lot of rotations, and now people are not going to use that, especially against the team. And that to be able to guard, even have a chance against somebody like the State, you have to kind of not get into rotations as much as you can, because they will kill you. And so that's the reason behind it. We're just happen to have a roster full of guys that it makes sense to be able to swim.
Do you think that Clint deserves to be in the conversation about the best centers in the NBA?
I mean, what he does is unbelievable. He'll be overlooked. Let's say he's a role player. It's not true. I mean, everybody's in a role player. If you're a star player, you're a role player. He's a star player. He's in a role, but what he does, we're not going to go to him and just say, okay, you carry the offense, but what he does is good or better than that.
Do you think he opened some eyes, kind of outshining Gobert and Cat in
I'm
his past
sure.
two series?
Yeah, and just watching him hard, yeah. And then not necessarily who he did it against, just how he plays and being relentless and what happens when he's on the floor. Now he's able to stand the floor 30-something minutes a game because his stamina, energy is way up there. Yeah, he's definitely jumped up to another level.
A lot has been made already just on how you guys have sort of targeted the Warriors, knowing they'd probably be there eventually.
Well, since they've won 3 out of the 4 last, or 2 out of 3, whatever it is, they've been in the finals 4 years ago. Who are you going to target? You're going to get the 30th team and say, we're going to beat those guys. Well, no kidding. You're going to going to do Golden State. Now, whether you say it or not say it, I would think there's last year 29 other teams had tried to get better than them, or what's the use? So, yeah, we target, but that's a compliment to them giving them a chance.
Is that helpful now that you kind of been on your guys' minds to some degree, so maybe back of their minds for all these months, that hey, this is what you wanted, and you're getting what you want? Well,
You know, eventually, you know, you got to go through that if you want to get something, the ultimate prize. So, yeah, that's great. But it hasn't been something on our mind in the sense we're trying to win games. We're trying to get the first seed. We're trying to just, you know, come together as a team. So that's more than that. Every once in a while, you would look up and see what the champs are doing and see what, you know, see how good they are. And they're good, really good. But it's not an obsession. You know, I didn't lose any sleep over the last 3 months. I still sleep well. You know, but it's something that if you want to beat them, you're going to have to beat them, and they're good.
That's Daryl's job.
Exactly. He can obsess over things. That's exactly right. But he did get a play in there in the meantime, so he wasn't too obsessed. He's okay.
To that end, is that something that normally players don't really focus on, especially a team that just had as much success to really look into who's going to be in the way or what do we have to do?
For the most part, and we're like everybody, normal fans. You look and see, you look how good they're playing, they're great. So you look at your bottom line, wow, this is good. And then also you can't wait for the competition to start to test yourself against them. But it's all, you know, it's all in good proportions. There's nothing's blown out of whack.
There's one ring in the room. Has the pursuit of the first championship, especially for some of your more veteran guys, how much is that driving this team, and how much is the having not done it something they have to overcome?
Well, not. I don't know if that drives anybody. I don't think that just because you won or have one, you got a bigger drive to get it. I think you always have that drive. It's too much fun, and the competition. These guys are highly motivated, self-motivated guys. They've won 5 or won number 6, and they won everything. I don't blame them. That's how they got here in the first place. You know, so it doesn't really drive us one. Now, what we have to prove is that we can do it in the big moments. Golden State, that's the advantage they have. They've done it in big moments. You know they're going to do it. Now, can we do it? I think we can, but we have to go out and prove it.
Thank you.
Thank you.